Namaste everyone. I am Pitambar Sapkota, Assistant Professor of Economics from Lumbini Banijya campus. Today I am going to discuss regarding the concepts of elasticity of demand. I think you have already discussed or learned about this topic, but again today we are going to discuss about the elasticity of demand in detail. Before discussing the elasticity of demand, I think we have to discuss a little bit regarding the law of demand as well as the determinants of demand. Is it? Okay. I think in your class 12, you discussed different kinds of the determinants of demand as well as the law of demand. I think you learned about the determinants of demand such as price of commodity, income of consumers, prices of related goods, weather, taste, preference. Such kind of the determinants you learned in your class 12. And in case of the law of demand, you learned that there is the relationship between determinants of demand and quantity of demand. Basically, you learned that there is the inverse relationship between price of commodity and quantity demand of commodity. Is it, dear students? Have you learned? Yes, you are right. There you discuss that there is just inverse. It means the law of demand just showed the direction of change in demand because of the change in price of commodity, other things remaining the same. Is it discussed? Yes, you all are right. So, but that law of demand could not discuss about how much percentage change in quantity demand because of the certain change in the price. But here, elasticity of demand, we will discuss how much percentage change in quantity demand of a commodity because of the certain percentage change in any one determinants of demand. Because there are so many kinds of the determinants of demand like price of commodity, income of consumers, prices of the other commodities, taste preference, and so many others. And this elasticity of demand basically measures how much percentage change in quantity demand for a commodity because of certain percentage change in whether the price, when other things remaining the same, or other determinants of demand remaining the same, or how much percentage change in quantity demand because of the certain percentage change in income or prices of other goods or so on. It means out of the different determinants of demand, because of the certain percentage change in any one determinant like the price or income or the price of related goods, how much percentage change in quantity demand for a commodity, it is explained by the elasticity of demand. Okay? And there are different kinds of the elasticity of demand. I think you know it well. For example, you know price elasticity of demand, which is denoted by the EP. Is it? And another one is the cross elasticity of demand, which is denoted by the EXY. And the next one is the income elasticity of demand, which is denoted by the EY just, as well as another one is the advertising elasticity of demand or the advertisement elasticity of demand. So here we will discuss about all these kinds of the elasticity of demand, but in this class or today's class we just discuss about the price elasticity of demand rather than the all kinds of elasticity. Therefore here we are just going to discuss about the price elasticity of demand. Will it, dear students? Okay, as per your permission, I am going to discuss about price elasticity of demand. And I want to tell you, if you have any confusion, immediately you can raise your hand and you can raise some issues regarding the price elasticity of demand. I think it will be better for you as well as for me. So here, just I am going to discuss about the price elasticity of demand. Okay. So here, the meaning of the price elasticity of demand is very simple, because price elasticity of demand explains, or it shows how much percentage change in quantity demand for a commodity because of the 1% change in price of commodity when other things remaining the same. Other things means when income of consumer remain constant, when prices of other commodities remain constant, when climate remains constant, when taste, preference, habit, advertisement, and many more other things remaining constant. In this situation, only when there is a fluctuation in the price by certain percentage, at that time, how much percentage of the demand is changed, it is explained by it is measured by the price elasticity of demand. Just you can look at here, EP equal to, I think you can look here, the minus, this is the symbol, and it is mentioned that so all this paragraph is mentioned in this kind of the formula, ratio formula. Here just you can look that EP is the proportionate change in quantity demand for a commodity. I think you have to understand that you must write or not just the commodity, because it has significant meaning in economics. And you can look here, the percentage change in the price. Here is not written all the determinants of goods and services. So here is mentioned the negative sign. Why this negative sign is mentioned, you have to understand. This negative sign is mentioned here because it indicates, it is a symbol of a negative relationship between price of commodity and quantity demand for a commodity. You must understand about it. And you always must remember there must be mention about what? This negative sign. And the next, and we can convert this language into some parametrical or this kind of the formula. Just you can look at, this is the percentage, and this triangle indicates the change, and this is the what? Quantity demand. And you can look at here, the percentage and change, this delta is the triangle is the change it indicates, and the P is the price of commodity. And again, we can transfer this formula in the next way, that is if we elaborate this formula, then we will get that delta Q upon delta P into P upon the Q. So here, you must understand what is the delta Q. Delta Q indicates that change in quantity, and delta P indicates that the change in price of goods and services. And the P indicates the initial price for goods and services, and Q indicates the initial quantity demanded for goods and services. So this is the formula, and on the basis of this formula, you can measure how much percentage change in quantity demand for a commodity because of the 1% change in price of goods and services. Okay. And this price elasticity demand is again categorized into different 5 types. Just you can look at here. The first type is the perfectly elastic demand, which is denoted by the EP equal to the infinitive. The another one is the perfectly inelastic demand, which is denoted as EP equal to 0. Okay. And the next one is the relatively price elastic demand, which is indicated by the EP greater than 1. Another one is the relatively inelastic demand, which is denoted EP less than 1. And next one is the unitary elastic demand, which is denoted by EP equal to 1. So these 5 types of elasticity demand, we must elaborate by using the table as well as by using some diagrams. Okay. Before using the table and the diagrams, first of all, we must understand and we must learn the concept. I think we have to go forward about it. Okay, can I go? Okay, if you give permission, I am going to discuss about the different 5 types of price elasticity of demand. The first of all, I am going to talk about perfectly elastic demand, and regarding this perfectly elastic demand, you must understand if there is larger change in demand, quantity demand for a commodity, because of the very negligible change in the price of commodity, when other things remaining the same, then this is called perfectly elastic demand. Just I said here, there is a very large change in the quantity demand for a commodity because of the very negligible change in price of the commodity. If it happens, then this situation is called perfectly elastic demand. And this is just theoretical concept, and in practice, this kind of situation never happened. For example, I want to give one example of this perfectly elastic demand, and I want to show the numerical example first. First of all, here is obtained this figure. Later I will discuss about it. First, I want to talk about this table. Just look at here. Suppose initially the price of car is 50 lakh, and when the price of car was 50 lakh per unit, at that time demand of car was 5,000 per month. It is supposed. Okay, and suppose price of car is increased by 1 rupees. Just 50 lakh plus 1 rupees. Because of the increase in the price of car by just 1 rupees, just you look at here, demand for car is declined very significantly from 5,000 unit to the what? The 1. It's like infinite. Okay, in the same way, suppose the price of car is declined by just 1 rupees out of the 50 lakh rupees. In this situation, if the demand of car increases, suppose by 1 lakh units per month, this kind of change is like infinite. If it happens, then this situation is called the perfectly elastic demand. Okay, so here the same condition we can also discuss by the help of this figure. So just you can look on the y-axis there is measure the price, and on the x-axis there is measure the what? The demand. And you must understand one thing is that if the price elasticity is perfectly elastic, in this situation the demand curve or the curve is this kind of the straight and parallel to the x-axis. Suppose if the price is just OP, at that time initially there is demanded just OQ quantity, and let's suppose the price declined, suppose by 1 rupees. So just I already told to you, price is negligibly changed. Suppose price is negligibly declined. Because of that, quantity demanded increase from OQ to OQ2, means there is a larger change. Similarly, suppose price increased by insignificantly or negligibly. In this situation, suppose quantity demand declines from OQ to OQ1 from larger unit. If it happens, then this situation is called perfectly elastic demand, and I just said to you, this is just theoretical concept. In practice, it does not happen. The next is the condition is perfectly inelastic demand. Okay, students. So here, it is indicated by the EP equal to 0, and in case of the perfectly inelastic demand, you must understand that whatever the change in price of goods, of a good, there is no change in quantity demand for a goods and the services, then this situation is known as perfectly inelastic demand. And which kind of goods and services it happen? Basically, in case of the very essential goods like salt, medicine, in such kind of goods, elasticity is what? Elasticity of demand is perfectly inelastic. For example, suppose the price of 1 tablet cetamol is just 1 rupees in the market, in Nepali market. Suppose if the price of cetamol, 1 tablet cetamol will increase by 10 rupees at that time, the people still consume just one tablet at once. Or if the price of cetamol declines rapidly, in this situation also, the people consumes, or the sick person consumes just one tablet cetamol. In the same way, in case of the salt, whether the price of salt increases or decreases, for one-time consumption, people use the same quantity of the salt. There is no change in the consumption of salt because of the change in the price of salt. If it happens, then this situation is called the perfectly inelastic demand, and we can discuss it by the help of this figure. Just you can look at here. On x-axis, there is measured the quantity demand. On y-axis, there is measured the price. And if the price elasticity or demand is perfectly inelastic in this situation, the curve is straight and parallel to the y-axis. Just I am going to derive like this. Suppose this line is the demand curve, which is parallel to the y-axis, and this demand curve is straight line. And suppose when the price is OP, at that time quantity demand is OQ. Suppose just wait. Okay. Suppose price declines from OP to just here. At that time also demand is the same. Again, suppose price increases from OP to this upside. At that time also the demand is the same. It means that there is no change in the quantity demand for commodity. This is the case of perfectly inelastic demand. Are you getting what I am saying? Okay, nice. Then we need to talk the next concept, that is the relatively elastic demand. Okay, it is denoted by the E P greater than 1. So here, in case of relatively elastic demand, I think, so what happened here, in case of relatively elastic demand, if the percentage change in demand is greater than the percentage change in the price of goods, then this situation is called relatively elastic. For example, when the price of particular goods declines by 5%, price is declined by 5%, in a situation, demand of that goods increases by more than 5%. Suppose 7, 8, 9, 10 or something. If it happens, then this is the case of relatively elastic demand. And you can raise one question, my dears. That is, in which kind of commodity it happens? Basically, in case of the luxurious goods like luxurious car, luxurious TV, luxurious sofa, okay, in such kinds of goods, elasticity of demand is what? Relatively elastic. And we can discuss it by the help of one diagram. Okay. Can I draw? Okay, if you give permission, and I am going to draw the what? This figure. So here, on y-axis there is measure the price, and x-axis there is measure the quantity demand. And you have to remember one thing, that if the elasticity is greater than the 1, at that time the curve is flatter. Okay, curve is flatter, and I am going to draw this kind of flatter curve. This is the demand curve, and suppose initially price is OP. At that time, quantity demand is OQ. Okay, suppose price declines by 5%, which is mentioned here. Because of the price decline by the 5%, that is OP to OP1, then quantity demanded quantity demanded increases by 8% from OQ to OQ1. Here, change in price is 5%, and change in demand is more than 5%. If it happens, then this is the case of relatively elastic demand. Okay, dears, are you getting what I'm saying? Okay, then the next case is relatively inelastic demand. It is just opposite of relatively elastic demand. In case of the relatively inelastic demand, what happens that here the percentage change in demand is less than the percentage change in the price of goods when other things remaining the same. It means as price increased by 5%, just I am saying the price increased by the 5%, but demand of goods declines by 4.9% or 3% or the 2%, if it happens, then this is called relatively inelastic demand. And again, you can raise one question. In which kind of the goods it happens? The answer is very simple. In case of the normal goods, okay, in case of the normal goods, demand is relatively inelastic. Which is the normal goods like shirt, pant, this kind of items are what? Relatively inelastic goods, and the demand of such goods is relatively inelastic. And again, we can discuss it by the help of the figure. Okay. So on this figure, just you can look, price is measured along the y-axis and quantity demanded is measured along the x-axis. And just I already told to you, as the elasticity is relatively elastic, demand is relatively elastic, at that time the curve is flatter. But if if the elasticity is inelastic in this situation, the curve is steeper as shown here. Just you can look at here. It is a steeper curve. Okay. So here, when the price is OP1, OP at that time, demand is OQ. Okay. So I think you are looking here. So suppose price is declined by 5% from OP to OP1. In this situation, quantity demand increased from OQ to OQ1 by just 3%. If it happens, then this kind of the scenario, this kind of the situation of the demand of goods and services is called relatively inelastic demand, my dears. Okay, we have this last one. That is called the unitary elastic demand. It is denoted by the EP equal to 1. It's very simple concept here. In case of the unitary elastic demand, just you can understand the percentage change in quantity demand is just equal to the percentage change in the price when other things remaining the same. It means as the price, if the percentage change in price is 10%, in this situation, the percentage change in demand for goods and services is also the 10%. But the relationship is what? The inverse you must understand. And we can discuss it by the help of given the figure. So here, even on this figure, the price is measured along the y-axis and quantity demand is measured along the x-axis. And just you can look at, okay, suppose initially price is OP. At that time, quantity demand is OQ. Suppose price is declined from OP to OP1 by this area, this percentage. At that time, quantity demand increases from OQ to OQ1 by the same percentage. If it happens, then this is called the situation of the unitary elasticity of the demand. I think that's all from my side. If you have any question, if you have any issue, you can raise. Even if you haven't any kind of the good understanding, again in next class we can further discuss. Okay, that's all for today. In the next class we'll again meet. Okay, thank you.